first, great thank you out to the IOEUA for having us here and letting us, basically set up our living room right here in this space. And so it's Utopia, Other Possible Worlds for Beginners today. So all the literature from ancient Greece to Thomas More, to philosophy, to history, to science, to the New Age, etc., does not consider people who do not want to read thousands of books to be a valid target market, which is actually pretty sad. Because we have so little time, we need a crash course to sound smart about it without really being smart about it. That's like our approach, you don't have to adopt this. This musical storytelling performance is our attempt at making a crash course for ourselves, basically. And it's presented in a free interactive format after this whole little intro thing. So feel free to interrupt or just, blurt stuff in, comments, questions, and make this trialogue like a bit more of a room event thing rather than, like a bunch of performers throwing stuff out at you and, that whole story, basically. So if you want, you can come forward, take the mic, or just blurt your questions out just like that. I'll have to repeat them robotically so that we can capture it. But yeah, that's the basic modality of the whole thing. So yes, we'll also feature some instrumental live music for the purists, even though we posed the question numerous times. Aren't words just small mouth sounds, essentially? Isn't language also a form of music? And since this is the chill out zone, the chill out place, we find it good to, orient ourselves towards this sort of bardic tradition of storytelling with music at the same time, and these two modalities interweaving themselves with the whole digital story that we all face right now today in the 21st century. We'll just jump to the next step and actually refer to the wall here. What could you live without? And so we set up all of this stuff, and why don't we just, for now then, turn off speakers and just do a completely acoustic number. Of course, you have this ambiguity caused by double meaning in the sense that on the one hand, utopia is this ideal future world of perfect realizations of some sort of human self or community living. And on the other side, it literally means no place. So it has this inherent tension inside of it, and it depends what we project into it. So if you believe in dictionaries, utopia is a kind of word prostitute. You can, use it for pretty much anything you want and say that, yeah, that I idealize this thing, and so that's like sort of a utopia. Our performance will help you look cooler around utopia when it's being used, but for like experts, this is a waste of your time. You guys can get back to work. We accept no money for this performance, except donations for the black hat, which because I'm just laying it down here. We'll only accept donations that are black market money, so not like the greedy capitalist fingers tainted on the money, but it has to be black market, or it has to come in say sexual favors. So just drop your an email thing in there and send us a photo, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to play you a song from the 1960s called Estate, from Italian composer, and this was like a minor hit back then. It turned into a sort of jazz standard later, and it's just about summertime, and I like the sort of bittersweet quality. It's not summer as in, oh, glorious summer, hooray. It's more summer in terms of, summer reminds me of this girl that I had a story with, a couple of years ago, and it was so nice, and we were so madly in love, but it went bad, so it went wrong so hard, and so there's this like, half annoyance, half celebrating these memories of summer, which, we can identify with today. I mean, what happened to summer in July, this, this year. Language and the brain, linguists tell us, objectify everything, turn everything into some sort of noun, into some sort of like fixed static object, an apple, a rock, consciousness, people, utopia. It's all noun, it's all object, and we use it as objects. If you analyze language, you see, this is used as an indirect object, direct object, whatever. And this sort of glosses over what certain people have modeled change to be. The root of many problems is mistaking substances and objects, because of this noun fetish that we have in language, and material with process. And for that we've got a little video here to just explain process philosophy in a few minutes.
I have been reading of this philosopher named Alfred North Whitehead. He says that substances do not exist.
But how can anything exist if not substances? What else could exist?
Process. Everything is process. Only events are real.
But surely there must be something which undergoes process. Are there not substances which endure through time?
No. The appearance of enduring substances is merely the result of our limited point of view. Just as fruit rots and iron rusts, so, too, do stars and even galaxies expire. They have no enduring substance.
But what of atoms? Does not matter itself endure? Is not matter itself made up of atoms which endure through time?
No. Atoms are made up of subatomic particles such as protons, neutrons, and electrons. These in turn are made up of quarks, and so on. Matter itself is made of energy.
But is not energy itself a substance?
No. Energy is a relationship between objects. But since objects themselves are made up of matter, which is made up of energy, which is made up of relationships, we are stuck in a strange loop. The universe is a set of relationships, between relationships, between relationships, all of which change over time. None of these relationships is ever static.
I see. So you are saying that substance does not undergo process. Rather, process is primary, and what we call substance is merely a temporary pattern produced by that process.
That is correct.
Wow. This changes everything. Thank you for the explanation.
No problem. Sorry about overturning your scientific paradigm.
No worries. Someday I will have my revenge.
And in the end, what you have is a bunch of multiplicities. The apple is not like some fixed thing that's standing in the room. It came from a tree, which came from seed, which came from another apple, and so on and so forth. So it's very difficult to tell, is there really like an object here? This is just like a kind of snapshot. The rock is a geological thing, consciousness, people, and so on. So this tendency of ours to like objectify people, to systematically organize society and treat people like a bunch of objects in some kind of a computer game, in part stems from our linguistic tendency to objectify, and it's just built into how we structure sentences, basically. Even Einstein had this interesting quote: "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." And so, like, he sees this intuitive mind, this sort of wholeness of who we are, perceiving, feeling, acting out, our emotional selves, all our senses, all of these things at once as, like, yeah, the intuitive mind, the thing that grasps the whole thing, along with the rational thing, which he sees as a servant. question mark.